Hi, I'm Hannah, and these are my top 10 perfumes for spring. Now, if you've watched me for a while, I don't normally do top 10 lists. I think that sometimes they can come across as forced and maybe a little bit cringy, I think is the word I'm looking for. But this was a requested video, and I am happy to do it because I am one of those people that does wear perfume seasonally. So I'll pull out different things for winter, different things for spring, different things for summer. I think the main reason that I do that is because I live in a place that's very, very cold. So 9 months out of the year, it's really cold, it's sweater weather. Oftentimes there's snow on the ground. And that kind of forces you to put away certain scents and gravitate towards things that are heavier, warmer, more cozy, and I think that just comes naturally. And I think if you live somewhere where it is warmer, those aren't the kinds of perfumes you're reaching for unless you're in air conditioning all the time. I'm a person that's normally cold, so I probably wear heavier scents more often than not, but I do believe in having some really like a wardrobe of uplifting perfumes that are perfect for spring. And I was going through my collection, and picking things out. And it occurred to me that a lot of my choices are perfumes that actually work well all year round. And often they are just signature scent worthy for a lot of people. So you might be familiar with many of these, and many of these are classics for good reason. They are very versatile and multifaceted, and you really can wear them at any time and for any occasion. So let's get started. The first one is Chanel number 5. Now, I do have Chanel number 5 in the Eau de Parfum version, which is from 1986. I enjoy it just fine. I spent 2 days looking for my bottle and I couldn't find it. And then today I remembered that I lent it to a friend. But I do have a vintage version of the Eau de Cologne, and this is from the 70s, I believe. And this is, I wouldn't say it's similar to the Eau de Parfum, but I mean, both of them are good representations of Chanel number 5. The Eau de Cologne, the vintage Eau de Cologne, is dirtier. It has civet in it. So really it depends on how you feel about wearing something that has civet in it. But this is still easy to find on eBay or other resale sites. So if you feel comfortable buying something that's not from a retail store, go ahead and look for this version because it is very easy to wear. I find it to be very easy to wear. And the reason that I picked Chanel number 5, first of all, perfect for spring because it's got aldehydes, which are fizzy and bright and uplifting, but then you've still got a dry down of kind of a cozier sandalwood, and then in this case civet. The Eau de Parfum version doesn't have the civet, and it's not as warm in the dry down, but basically you're dealing with the same kind of scent profile. But I picked Chanel number 5 because of that, and also because May 5th is Chanel number 5 day. That's the day that the Eau de Cologne, or the perfume, originally came out. And so in my mind, May is always for Chanel number 5, and May is in spring, and so I just kind of always think of Chanel number 5 as a perfect springtime scent because it came out when it was spring. This is signature scent worthy. It's a perfume you could wear all year round. You definitely shouldn't save it for spring, but if you have a bottle or a version of this kicking around, then definitely pull it out in the spring. I think you'll find it to be very, very uplifting. My next pick is the newest perfume bottle in my collection, and this is a scent that I discovered when I was in Milan for Exsanx. This brand was at the show, but I didn't get a chance to talk to them because they were super busy. But I had already tried their perfumes in a perfume store in the city. And so after trying one of them on my skin, when I got back home, I ended up placing an order, and this is actually a perfect scent for the season. And the perfume is called Loon by Hima Jomo. Now, Loon in Punjabi means salt, And Hima Jomo, the brand, creates perfumes that are inspired by the Himalayas. Their latest collection is called Treasures, and there's 3 scents in the collection. One that's inspired by Himalayan salt, that's Loon. There's one called Perfume, which is inspired by cashmere. And then the third scent is called Chai. And obviously it's a tea-based scent. I tried Loon on my skin and I really liked it, so this is the one that I have bought. Loon does smell salty, which is really cool, and it also has like tart pink roses in it, and then the dry down has cedar and vetiver, and that effect is really cooling. And so the whole perfume kind of makes you think of salt, yes, and maybe some florals in the air, and then a cold wind blowing down from the mountains. And I have mountains where I live also, and when you walk in that area, you can smell the kind of balsamic scent of the trees in the air, but the wind is colder than how it feels in the city. And this perfume kind of evokes that for me, and it's really enjoyable to wear. So on a warmer day, this is the perfume that I think I'm going to be reaching for, because I just find the saltiness of it to be so interesting, so unpredictable, so surprising. I don't think I've smelled anything that's really like this. And then I love the rose in it, and I love the dry down. So that is my pick for number 2. My number 2 pick for perfumes for springtime. The third perfume I'm going to mention is Eau Lente by Diptyque. I kind of have gone down a Diptyque rabbit hole this past year, and Eau Lente was a scent that I smelled in a Diptyque boutique because that's the only place you can get it, and I bought it that same day because I loved it so much. I thought it was so interesting and so surprising. Eau Lente is really a study in contrast, so it starts off more herbal, more fresh. It's got cinnamon in it, which is spicy and has a bit of a bite, but it's like a cooling mentholated cinnamon. And then the dry down is warm, a little bit vanillic, a tiny bit sweet, but mostly with incense. And so I like that this starts off fresh and bright, and then it kind of gets a little bit more cozy as you wear it. I really think of Eau Lente as an incense perfume, but it's not very smoky, and it's not like any of the modern incense perfumes. This perfume came out in the 70s, and it's really quite unique. It's more complex than other Diptyque perfumes that are maybe available at Diptyque counters in department stores, and maybe that's why they keep it in the boutiques, because it's definitely more interesting than some of the other Diptyque scents that I've smelled. It is still my favorite Diptyque, and I think you could wear this again in any weather because it's got a freshness and then also a warmth to it. But because of that, I think it works great in springtime. You don't even have to think about whether it's going to be a cold day or a hot day. You can just wear Eau Lente, and I think it will be absolutely perfect. So that is my third choice for springtime perfumes. The next perfume is Prada Infusion du Riz, and I used to think of this as more of a summertime scent because it really is quite fresh. It has neroli in the opening that keeps it nice and green, but then it does have benzoin and incense in the dry down. So again, it starts off really fresh and then gets a little bit more comforting, I would say, as you wear it. This is an iconic perfume. I don't think it really gets a lot of play these days. I don't know if people are really talking about it, but again, I find it to be really easy to wear in all weathers. As I was saying, I used to think of it as a summer perfume, but now I think of it as a springtime perfume because one time I saw Francesca Bianchi, the perfumer, mention that this was one of her reference neroli scents for the springtime. And after that, I also think of it as a springtime perfume because of the neroli. And it's just really pretty, really easy to wear, and you can really spritz it on in any kind of weather. Another rabbit hole that I went down this past year, in addition to my Diptyque rabbit hole, was the Shalimar rabbit hole. And I really think that there's a Shalimar for all seasons. For springtime, I'm going to have to pull out my Eau de Toilette. I did end up getting the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Cologne and the Christmas time flanker also. I would have to say the Eau de Cologne is my favorite, but it really is something that you want to reapply and spritz on more often, so I would wear it more in the summertime. In the springtime, I like the Eau de Toilette because it has more of that fizzy, Sprite-like bergamot on top. I feel like people often choose their concentration based on longevity or the strength of the perfume, and you could do that, but I really think that the concentration changes the impact that certain ingredients have, and in this case I really think that bergamot shines a little bit brighter, but with the balance of all the other notes in the dry down, like the incense, the resins, the vanilla, all of that. I think it works a little bit better in the springtime and in the Eau de Toilette format. The Eau de Parfum is just way heavier. It would be too heavy for me to wear in the spring or the summer, but the Eau de Toilette is just right. And so this is the version of Shalimar that I am going to be pulling out this spring. I'm going to be having it in my rotation. The next perfume I have used quite a bit, and I only have a little bit left. I've actually had this bottle in my rotation for the past month or so because I'm trying to finish it, but because I've been sampling so much too, I really haven't been reaching for it very much. So I haven't been able to finish this bottle, but I want to. And that is Feminite du Bois by Serge Lutens. This has a mix of spices, so clove, cinnamon, and then a woody kind of dry down, and there's plum in here. Even though there's so many spices in here, I feel like they read kind of fresh and not as warm as you would think. Again, there's a bite because of the cinnamon, and maybe there's like a menthol kind of quality that cinnamon always brings to the table, and that really works well in Feminite du Bois. I find myself craving the spiciness of it, and the spices also remind me of Coca-Cola. So maybe it's like that idea of opening a can of Coke and drinking it and just being so refreshed that makes me crave this perfume as well, because I think of it as kind of a refreshing spicy perfume and also really, really easy to wear. So that is Feminite du Bois. If you haven't tried this one, I really like it. It doesn't get very sweet. I know I mentioned Coca-Cola, but it's not very sweet. It's not tonka heavy that a lot of Coca-Cola like scents can be, but just really spicy and woody and a beautiful classic perfume. Again, another one that you could wear in any kind of weather all year round. I just think it works really well in springtime. You don't have to think about whether it's going to be cold or hot outside. You can just put this on. My next choice is another one of my favorites, another one that I find really easy to throw on. It's a classic, it's versatile, it's like having a second skin that you feel really comfortable in, like putting on your favorite hoodie or your favorite jacket. I'm talking about Bois d'Argent by Christian Dior. Probably too expensive to be considered worthy of layering, but I really think it goes well with everything. The blend of musks and iris and myrrh is just really addictive, and the unfortunate thing is that this doesn't have a lot of sillage, a lot of projection, a lot of presence, but when you get whiffs of it, you just know that you smell so good and so luxurious. And so that is also on my spring list, and really another bottle that I should probably finish and then replace. If I had to pick a Frederic Malle to wear in the springtime, I am going to pick Carnal Flower. This is my favorite tuberose perfume. I have a lot of tuberoses, but I don't love them all as much as I love Carnal Flower. The eucalyptus in the opening is refreshing. The tuberose is properly indolic, but not annoyingly so. I know a lot of people find that tuberose is hard to wear. I know it can be a little bit old school, but I think this really smells modern, and again, it's a classic and my favorite tuberose, and probably one of my favorite Frederic Malles ever. The next perfume is one that I've had in my collection for a really long time, and that is Acqua de Parma Ambra. Now, Ambra perfumes in Italy are referencing ambergris, not amber perfumes. So this is not sweet or heavy or warm. This is really an ambergris blended with rose. It's, again, perfect for all kinds of weather. It's really, I would say, lush and kind of a voluminous rose in the opening. And then the ambergris just kind of makes it stick to your skin and have a good amount of projection, actually. And I guess maybe of all my perfumes that I picked today, this is the one that would probably have the most presence. It is maybe not to everyone's taste because it has ambergris in it, and a lot of people can think that that reads really animalic and they find it to smell weird, but I just think the saltiness of ambergris is almost addictive smelling, and I really enjoy wearing this perfume. I don't wear it in the winter really, but I do love it in the springtime. In the summer it can be a little bit too sweet, a little bit too heavy, but it is really perfect in the springtime. So that is Ambra by Acqua de Parma. The last perfume I'm going to pick is one that I purchased last year on my birthday. My birthday's April 5th, and so it falls in springtime. And I guess I think of this perfume as a spring perfume because that's the time of year I purchased it. I'm talking about Cinabre by Maria Candida Gentile. This is a ginger, rose, and incense perfume. The ginger is really spicy and kind of reminds me of eating like that sugar-coated ginger, like the crystallized ginger that you can get in grocery stores. That's what the ginger in this smells like. And I really love that. I love ginger as a note. I love eating ginger, and then I love smelling it. If you don't like ginger, then this is really not going to be for you because like she really goes there with the ginger. She does not hold back, and that is what I love about this perfume. 2 years ago, I had purchased a travel size of it, and I quickly finished this, and then I've been refilling it. So this is refillable, and I've been refilling it from this bigger bottle. So another perfume that I love wearing. I've worn it a lot in the summer. I find that it doesn't have really good longevity in the summer, so I wouldn't recommend it for warm weather. But for springtime, the longevity is just fine, and you can get 6 hours out of this, but probably not much more than that, especially if it's a warmer day. But if you're looking for something that's spicy and rosy and really interesting and niche, I recommend that you try this or try to look for it. In general, Maria Candida Gentile is known for her work with incense, and the perfumes are all natural perfumes, which is maybe why they don't really stick to my skin. But this one is really my favorite one. I've tried a few of them. This one is still my favorite one, and perfect for spring weather. Again, incense seems to show up in a lot of my perfumes, and I love incense. I love the warmth of it, I think, and that makes it work well in winter and spring. And then I guess a lot of my scents that I picked have spiciness to them too, either ginger or cinnamon, or something else. And again, that's something that I really love in my perfumes. So that's it for me. Hopefully this gives you some things to think about as you're making your springtime perfume edit. Let me know if you wear your scents seasonally or not. They say that the trend is for people to not wear them seasonally, but I still will. I'll always have perfume that I wear in the winter and in the springtime and in the summer. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. Bye.